rock, but men rock.
Enjoy this celebration for Brent Alwin. I wanted to start out, I actually received an email from Troy Sennett. For those of you who don't know, Troy Sennett was the guitarist for the Style Monkeez. And he asked me to read this. Kind of the format of the evening as we go is it's obviously very informal. The mic is going to be here. When you want to come up and say something, come up. We'll turn the music down and give you the opportunity to speak. Brent was a man who traveled in many circles and made an incredibly huge amount of memories. And this is one that Troy wanted me to read. So I have many road stories of the Style Monkeez hijinks through the years, but I'll share a few of my favorites as I can hear Brent saying right now, get to the point. Anyways, I remember our very first show ever as the Style Monkeez was on a Halloween party on the 27th and on 27th and DuPont Avenue, south circa 1990 or so. Some of you may remember his block parties too. Not sure what the guy's name was, but he threw some great parties back then. Anyways, like I said, it was our first show ever outside of house parties, and we wanted to make the statement and get our name out there. So before the show, Brent had this idea that would rewrite the words "the end" with the question mark in black magic marker on our bare asses. Brent having the TH on either cheek, Greg with the double E, and I, of course, with the ND in question mark, and moon the crowd at the very end of our show. Not sure why I had the question mark, but that was Brent's idea. Needless to say, to prepare, we couldn't write on our own asses, so we had to mark each other's. And it just so happens that when Brent was writing the ND on my ass while on his knees so he could make it perfectly legible, the owner of the house came in, our green room, to say we'd be going on soon. Suddenly his expression changed, and with a horrified look on his face, as he saw Brent on his knees, face level to my ass, writing on it, but in best typical Brent fashion, he didn't miss a beat, and with his best lisp he could muster, Brent replied to the owner of the house, we're busy right now, getting ready. We'll be ready shortly. After that moment, I knew I was in for an amazing journey, and this band and I was right. Anyways, after playing for about an hour or so in a steaming hot basement packed full of people with hot lights directed right at you, one can imagine how sweaty you would get. Well, it got to be our last song, which is the time we always warped. We did a warped version of Madonna's Justify My Love, and while holding our final note, Brent motioned to me and Greg to drop trout, and that's exactly what we did. Only the sweat and heat had pretty much melted the words, the end, into black smudges. The question mark on my ass, however, remained, and it was our first message to the word. A series of black smudges with the question mark. I remember this story because it was my first experience with Brent as a performer, and I realized it was his energy and his enthusiasm that a lot of people responded to. He was always so full and of unbridled excitement on stage, and that is truly amazing that he never missed a note while playing. He was truly talented, but that didn't get in the way of his being the consummate jokester. I don't know if any of you remember, but he was obsessed with creating his own Carney Wilson bass. Obviously, it was not going to be one of a kind. It didn't matter that she had nothing to do with bass playing. He didn't care. It was going to be his prized possession. I'm not sure if he ever had one made, but I guarantee you he went on for about a good 2 years straight. He's probably looking down on us right now, smiling, while he slaps Carney's face. Though Brent and I met so many amazing people, it's hard to count them. But I'm sure a lot of them are here today. Sean Hockett, Mike Kelly, Katie Hoons, Dan J, to name a few. And I'm so happy and blessed to be able to call all of you my friends. We all shared a special time in music through the 90s, and I know if Brent were here, He would not want us to be sad, but to celebrate his life and reflect what we all had a part in creating with Brent so many years ago now. To quote Jeff Winter, "I wish Brent were here, if only to say goodbye." Well, we are all together today to do just that and to make sure he lives on in each of us. I love you all and hope life finds you full of peace and contentment. That's something I never had the opportunity to say to Brent, so I'm saying it now. Thank you all for listening. I'm humbled to know each and every one of you. Thanks again. Troy Sennett. Y'all free to come up whenever you want.